What we have followed to the pathos of this terminus might be called the outward motion. A year earlier, Picasso, painting for the Spanish Pavilion at the Paris Exposition, the great political picture of Between Wars, the bombing of the Basque town of Guernica by Nazi planes in Franco's hire, Picasso advanced from graphic sketches, this anguished horse still in touch with Delacroix, this mother and dead child charged with the residuum of romantic outrage, to an apocalyptic abstraction in which modern vision, by paradox, vaults the falls of its outwardness. It is what Schoenberg stretched over a lifetime. From the climax and epiphany of the Transfigured Night, to the 12-tone trans-emotionality of the 1936 violin concerto, such a calcining as Camus would bring to the agonies of La Peste, this human form lacerated by the spear thrusts of the plague, consumed by searing superhuman fires, buffeted by all the raging winds of heaven, was foundering under his eyes in the dark flood of the pestilence, and he could do nothing to avert the wreck. Without that Nietzschean crucible of dangerous conversion, how could Rilke's Do We Know elegies have brought in the last hazel catkins from the land of pain? On the brink of the First War, when the elegies were begun, Franz Marc's enchanted mill had explored such transreal discovery as would lead Rilke, guided by a youthful sorrow, from the streets of the grief city far out, weit, wir wohnen dort draußen. Lightly she leads him on through the wide landscape of laments, to the rock source of joy, a carrying stream. But Marc was killed at Verdun, and it was Klee who, in ironic miniatures, whimsied by Dada and the surreal, this 1922 twittering machine, right, would pursue the Blauerreiter search, even to the Second War. In music, Schoenberg's pupil Webern, subtle and terse as Klee, had been working since 1909, here the first of his Opus 9 pieces, toward an ultimate suspension of modernity. But could either Klee or Webern take up the starred secrets of Rilke's symbolist journey? For that transcendence of romantic, we wasters of sorrow turn in music to Berg's 1935 violin concerto on the death of Mano Gropius, and in art, why not to Lehmbruck, prodigy of the mining Ruhr, who modeled this kneeling woman in 1911, about when the roar of the Adriatic gave Rilke the opening of the first elegy, who, if I cried out, would hear me among the angelic orders, and soon after of the 10th, that I, issuing at last from destroying visions, may break into jubilant praise for assenting angels. With Lehmbruck's ascendant youth of 1913, sorrow stretches like Rilke's tall tear trees, his fields of blossoming sadness up toward the stars of the land of pain. great war whelmed Leenbroek in the 1916 fallen warrior. Such in Berg's concerto is the last agony of Manon Gropius. But when the Berg, from that 12-tone struggle, feels its way toward Bach's hymn to death, Es ist genug. It is as if Leenbroek had brought from war itself his 1918 praying girl, or Rilke in that rock gorge discovered the spring of joy, die Quelle der Freude. They stand at the foot of the range, and there she embraces him weeping. Alone he climbs to the mountains of primal pain, and never once does his step resound from the soundless fate. It is in Leenbroek's final Heads of Lovers, already breathing the orphism of his suicide, that we scale with the close of the Berg and of the Rilke, the height of Between Wars, a mystery we claim, earth wrinkling behind us like a pricked balloon. And yet, were they waking a likeness within us, the endlessly dead, look, they'd be pointing perhaps to the catkins hanging from empty hazels, or else they'd be meaning the rain that falls on the dark earth in the early spring, der fällt auf dunkles Erdreich im Frühjahr. And we, who have always thought of happiness climbing, would feel the emotion that almost startles when happiness falls, und wir, die an steigendes Glück denken, empfinden die Rührung, die uns beinahe bestürzt, wenn ein glückliches fällt.